describe the creative process between your early albums, The Party Scene, Put Up or Shut Up, So Wrong Is Right, to your more recent albums, Nothing Personal, Dirty Work, Don't Panic? For example, were there any changes musically in between in order to get your music out there?
I don't know how to like start that question.
You're not asking about like bras or something, so we really know how to answer it.
The writing process has been fairly similar throughout, with the exception of a couple albums where we did bring in, well, didn't bring in, but I wrote some songs with co-writers, and also there was a process on 2 of the records where we split up the production of songs with multiple producers. The reason being, we wanted to try and learn as much as we can from people, and one of the big things that ended up happening was, in a couple of the cases, we didn't have, either it was scheduling or budget that just never lined up for us to get the one person we really wanted to do the project. So it was like, okay, I can do 3 weeks with you, but 3 weeks is not enough time to do a whole album. So we'd end up doing 2 songs here with them, and then 2 songs here with another guy. And so we started, for 2 albums, it was Nothing Personal and Dirty Work. That's how we constructed the records. We put them together by doing a couple songs here and there with different people. And
mainly because we didn't really want to be off the road, because that's where we belong. And
yeah, that was another big part of it.
We didn't want to be off the road for like 7 months, because that's what it would have taken for us to be in the studio with one producer.
Yeah.
And we were like, we'd rather split it up and be on the road most of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, that was really the drastic difference in writing style and how we put together a record, but everything else we've pretty much done in a room with one producer and the 4 of us. That's how we did the latest one, and it's how we did, most of the earlier stuff as well. So it was kind of like apples to oranges, and both work, and we learned a lot from the other process, like splitting it up and stuff, but I think to make a concise album, what we've learned is it's better to do it with one person in one sitting, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, good question.
And my next one is, what would you say was the #1 song or album of yours that gained the most recognition in your musical journey? Like, what point in your careers did it hit you that you...
I think Weightless.
Our songs or our...
Yeah.
I think Weightless.
Yeah.
Like, Dear Maria was really big for us. It was our first, like, real single. But I think Weightless kind of took us to the next level, like the MTV kind of recognition we got, and it kind of helped us become a bigger band.
It was the first chance we took too. Like, we had never done anything with like electronic beats or anything like that before, and we kind of we combined a few things into one song, and it ended up being a defining song of our career. I think that was one of the times that we took like something slightly out of left field for us at the time, and it paid off.
It is funny that like when we released that, people were like, "This is different for them," but like now it's like the normal.
Yeah,
it's like the norm for us, and when people hear that, they think that's all-time low.
People are like, "Why don't they write songs like Weightless anymore?"
But when it first came out, like people were like, "What the fuck are what are these beats doing in like an all-time low song?" Yeah, it's funny how that works out.
Perspective.
Awesome.
Do you want to go? Yeah, I'll go. You've been on a lot of tours since you guys have established yourself as a band. Who is your favorite band to tour with so far?
So many great bands, honestly. It's really hard to pick one, but the Fall Out Boy tour really stands out to me. We were still fairly green at that point, and those guys really kind of like took us under their wing and took care of us on that tour. And sort of the way they treated us was, I think, something that resonated with us for a long time. And it's, since we've gotten into like the headlining shows and things like that, it's always, we've carried it with us. It's kind of like, this is the standard for how you should treat people. So we learned a lot from them, and I think that was probably like...
I think, yeah, Alex is right. I mean, Fall Out Boy was really big. I think 2 bands that really kind of... We got to tour luckily a lot of our idols, but 2 bands that really kind of took like a big brother approach to us was Fall Out Boy and Control It. Control It, obviously, because we're from Baltimore and they're from Maryland, and they kind of taught us like a lot of things.
Yes.
And Fall Out Boy did the same. Whereas like we toured a lot of other bands like Third Eye Blind that were like really good to us, and like we're also our idols, but we really learned a lot from Fall Out Boy and Control It. They really kind of implemented a lot of
bestowed a lot of
knowledge into us.
Yeah.
Sexually. Yeah. We were raped by Benji and Joel. Pete.
Mr. Mustafa.
What song lyrically means the most to you? Like, what was the best to write?
It's another tough question. We have so many now. Off the top of my head, and probably because it's the new record feels so fresh right now, the song "To Live and Let Go" on the new album is lyrically one of the songs that deals with like some of the heavier themes that we write about sometimes, and so that one, although it's pretty like obscure in the way I wrote it, personally it has a lot of meaning for me. Jack can't read.
Respect. Illiterate in all ways.
So he has no idea.
In what ways have bands, I know like Blink-182 inspired you, in what ways have they directly inspired your music?
I mean, they're the reason we started our band, really. Between them and Green Day, I mean, a big thing for me was when I saw their DVD. At the time, it was a VHS tape, but their little documentary that they put out kind of showed me the light on a band that takes their career seriously and their music seriously, but not really themselves seriously, and just to see people go out there and impact people so heavily, but also seem like they're just having such a good time, it immediately kind of clicked in my head that like, that's what I need to do. So I think, yeah, Blink for me is.
I mean, more recently we got the opportunity to open up for them in Europe, like, and watch them play now when like they're almost 40 and they're playing festivals for like 80,000 people in Europe, and they get up there and they're literally like 38, 39 years old and they're talking about dicks on stage, and
their kids
are side stage, and like we were just like kind of blown away that they're still kind of doing like the same thing they've been doing for years, and we were just kind of like, wow, like that kind of like shows that we possibly have a future. Not playing for 80,000 people, but maybe like 1/19th of that.
18 people.
Yeah.
It's still telling the same dick jokes.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys just released Don't Panic. What else is there we can look forward to seeing from you guys this upcoming?
A lot of touring. We're going to be on the road a lot. This is kind of a one-off for us. We're home for the holidays now, but starting January, I think we're pretty much going to be traveling the world. There's a noise. For the majority of next year. I think there'll be a couple exciting releases at some point that it's too early in the game to talk about now, but we have a lot of cool things lined up, and also more music videos and just interesting things. That'll be fun.